They say that the journey for 1,000 miles begins with one single step. And if this journey is to cover the concepts of economy for civil services examination, particularly for the prelims 2023, then this video session is going to be your first step. This video session and the upcoming video sessions in our series of economy for covering the important topics of current affairs is really going to help you guys. So make sure that you take this video and discuss this video, the concepts that are being discussed here, discuss them with your fellow compatriots, fellow people, fellow aspirants, so that you develop a deeper understanding about these subjects. And make sure to share this video as well. Reason being that I am going to talk about really important topics. The mainstay topic that I'm going to discuss is Indian rupee, the evolution of money. So all the doubts that you have with respect to money or currency or fiat currency, legal tender, UPI, CBDC, which is the central bank digital currency, हर एक डाउट को I will be taking up through this video session. So make sure that you share this. And if you are an old student, then you would realize that this is not just the only session that I've had. There is an entire series that we have been working on, particularly on science and tech. For example, there have already been two videos on the Unacademy UPSC Articulate that Sri Ram's IS has brought to you guys. Apart from that, there have been somewhere around 4 odd sessions that I have taken on the science and tech current affairs on the Unacademy platform. So Sriram's IS has brought to you these amazing sessions. Make sure to follow for more. Now, as far as the team or the faculty team is concerned, with the guidance and support of our director, Sriram sir, these wonderful individuals are going to help you guys in achieving your goals and in achieving your dreams, making yourself successful in the field of UPSC civil services. All right. Now, if you want to find me, this is me. Okay, ji? Right at the corner. Chalo. As far as who am I, right? Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? Right. So this is me, and these are my qualifications. This is the number of years of experience that I have, and the kind of subjects that I take up. All these subjects that I take up, it helps me cover current affairs in a more holistic manner so that I can help students with a number of things. ठीक है जी? चलिए. Now let's begin. Before I proceed and talk about the very first topic, I want to tell you that Sri Ram's IS is bringing to you a foundational course for the year 2024. Make sure to follow that. And also, if you want to get a discount, this is the referral code, that is Sri Rams, SRIRAMS. ठीक है जी? So use this code, get yourself the discount, work hard, take our support, and push through. चलिए. Then you can also avail a flat 20% discount on all the UPSC CSE subscriptions, particularly if you are availing any kind of subscription from an academy for Sri Ram's IS, the tie-up that we have. अच्छा, उसमें भी आपका referral code same रहेगा. That is Sri Ram's, SRIRAMS. ठीक है जी? Now that you know all this information, let's push to our topic. Our topic of the day is Indian rupee. Indian rupee taking various shapes. Oh, yes, of course, not to forget the results. Now, moving to the topic. So, India is pushing for UPI. Now, India's UPI push is one of the agendas and one of the issues that we need to be covering, one of the things that we have to make sure that we are covering. The thing is that when you talk about UPI, UPI is not a singular topic, it is directly associated with a couple of things. For example, number one, e-rupee or the CBDC. ठीक है जी? Apart from that, it is also associated indirectly and directly with cryptocurrencies. So through this process, through this video session, you will get a holistic picture. I've brought to you certain ideas, certain concepts, which will create a holistic picture with respect to the UPI system as well as the CBDC system. What are the issues? What are the challenges? अगर आपने UPSC के previous year question papers देखे हैं, then you would realize the kind of questions that UPSC has asked from topics like this are purely based on analysis, purely based on whether or not you know how how beneficial UPI would be, how beneficial e-rupee or cryptocurrency or CBDC would be. Is e-rupee the same as the cryptocurrencies that we have been looking at ever since 2015-16, or whether there is a difference between the e-rupee and CBDC? What are the issues and challenges? Will e-rupee replace the UPI payment systems, and how would it happen? ठीक, chalo. Now, what happened was in January this year, NPCI had paved way for international phone numbers to be able to transact using UPI. Now, this is the next feat, the next level that NPCI has taken UPI to. UPI is one step ahead every single time, and it is going to help us achieve internationalizing the Indian rupee, internationalizing of rupee. Because you cannot internationalize any currency without making sure that there are platforms or systems which make sure that there is smooth transactions, and for that this single step will pave a wonderful way for that, right? Now, apart from that, what happened was later on the cabinet also approved an incentive scheme for promoting RuPay debit cards as well as low value Beam UPI transactions, which are between person to a merchant. Merchant is someone who's a commercial entity. Acha, there is one hiccup there. There are, because of this cabinet approval, there were certain, I would say rumors, and they might turn out to be true very soon, that every transaction over and above rupees 2000, UPI will be charging you some percentage amount if you are transacting more than this. So basically, low transactions or low value transactions through the Beam UPI portal would be allowed, but beyond that, after a certain threshold, you will have to pay for that. A very important news. And you might not be asked this question whether you are paying for UPI or will you be paying for UPI. UPI will be paid in the future. That is, there is no question about it, because everything else is paid, but it will of course definitely be cheaper than other things. But the concern here is what will be the kind of questions. Let's move towards that part, right? Acha. Now, so what is UPI? UPI, or the Uniform Payments Interface, is basically like a common platform that allows any person to transfer money from his bank account to any other bank account in the country instantly, using nothing but his or her UPI ID. Now, the concern is that UPI to be successful requires the support of banks. So the banks should be a part of the entire gateway system. They are supposed to be a part of this entire process. If they don't partake, then the process would definitely be half-hearted. But UPI had many takers, and many individual banks in the initial phase itself participated in the process, and now we have a very advanced and a much financially included system as far as UPI is concerned. Launched in 2016, it was basically a mobile first digital payment platform. Apart from whatever else existed, for example, Paytm used to exist, but still UPI was revolutionary. It enables immediate money transfer. It is 24/7 service, 365 days a year, round the clock service. But it is based on the processes which are followed by IMPS platform. IMPS platform is the immediate payment service platform, where if you're transferring money, for example, if you're doing NEFT or if you're pursuing RTGS, there is a time lag when the and also a time period within which you can perform that transaction. Beyond that time period, you cannot go for NEFT or say RTGS. And also beyond when you transact, when you have transacted or given money to someone through RTGS, there is one UTI number. This is the transaction identification number. This number you hold on to. Why? Because there is a time lag between the release of funds and the receiving of funds. That is why IMPS platform was created. Now, this IMPS platform makes cashless transfers much more faster, easier, smoother, right? Plain and simple. Now, completely interoperable. This is, and apart from that, it is a unique thing in the world. That is why it has many international takers in Southeast Asia, in say Africa. We are trying to internationalize this platform. Now, it also caters to peer-to-peer collect requests. For example, I'll tell you, if you're wanting to pay your national under the national pension scheme, you're wanting to add contributions under the tier 1 segment of the scheme, you can use UPI, and through UPI there will be a request on the Bheem portal, and you approve that request and the funds are transferred. So peer to peer collect requests are also can also be scheduled and can be paid as per the requirement and convenience. Now, apart from that, NPCI is basically an umbrella organization which is allowing this entire retail payment system to exist. The entire ecosystem of payments or online payments or transactions is handled by NPCI. Now, this is under the guidance of RBI. NPCI is not created just by RBI, it is also the Indian Banks Association which helped RBI create NPCI. It's a not for profit company created under a statute, which is the Payments and Systems Act of 2007. These are certain facts that prelims में जो पूछे जा सकते हैं, तो आपको इसके लिए तैयार रहना चाहिए. अच्छा, now it was created under the section 25 of the Companies Act. Earlier on it used to be section 25, now it is section 8 of Companies Act. Basically जितनी भी not for profit companies होती हैं वो section 8 of Companies Act 2013 के अंतर्गत बनती हैं. As simple as that. The intention is, again, why have I underlined this? Because this can be asked in your prelims question. Prelims में statement based सवाल आ सकता है. We should be ready to provide infrastructure to the entire banking system in India, and also for physical as well as e-payments and settlement system. So it is not just for online payments. यहाँ पे फर्क है. So that is why I have highlighted this. It is also for physical as well as e-payment systems and settlements in India. तो होता क्या है कि जब आप physical payments कर रहे होते हैं, you use multiple initiatives and multiple products that NPCI has to offer. For example, Aadhaar enabled payment system is also something that NPCI had created. Bheem UPI portal is also something that NPCI helped creating. And there are somewhere around 11 or 13 odd products that it has to offer. My personal suggestion as a homework, a very bad habit that I have had ever since I started teaching, is to give homeworks to students. So my homework is very simple. You have to visit the official website. See, कुछ तुम करो कुछ हम करें, है ना? वो वाला process रहेगा, because I want you guys to gain confidence in yourself. Prelims is also a game of confidence. So when you go through the official websites, you gain that confidence, particularly for you, NPCI. Just go through the website. You will realize such a beautiful website it has been created. It seems like something which is not an Indian stuff. It probably seems more or less like a Western entity. And वो देख के हैरानी हो जाती है कि इतनी सुंदर, इतनी खूबसूरत तरीके से बनाई गई वेबसाइट है. And go through the list of products and you will be surprised. So many products are launched by NPCI. Very much relevant for you guys. You should know the list, and particularly by heart. ठीक है जी, चलिए moving further. Recently, RBI had published a documentation, very important documentation, Payment Vision 2025. There can be options that it can be asked. This itself can be asked. For example, they might give you these options: A, RBI; B, NPCI; C, for example, Niti Aayog; and D, Ministry of Finance. ठीक है जी? So a bit confusing because you might think it is RBI or NPCI और नीति आयोग. किसी ना किसी का तो गलत हो ही जाएगा, आप लोगों का सही हो जाएगा. कमेंट सेक्शन में मुझे बताइएगा कि इनमें से आंसर क्या होना चाहिए. ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पे आंसर लिखा हुआ है, बट स्टिल कमेंट्स में बताना. I really want you guys to interact with me, so make sure to comment on this video as well. Now UPI is expected to register an average annualized growth of 50%. Somewhere around out of 1.4 billion individuals, somewhere around 830 or 825 million individuals have internet connections, have internet access. And these are those individuals. I'll tell you, my Fufaji, my uncle, he uh, uh, he recently, he was always detesting online payments, online shopping and everything, and he's somewhere around 80 years of age. Nowadays he's ordering stuff for home improvement, for various other things. He's ordering stuff online. He's like, these are only this is only a couple, my aunt and my uncle. They don't have any offings. They don't have any kids and anybody else to take care. So they have started this. Why? Just because they were sitting on the internet and they realized that there are so many things that are available. And that is why the Payments Vision 2025 is projecting an annualized growth. Like, this is happening in front of our eyes. How is it unique, this payment portal, this UPI? This is really unique. Why? Because immediate money transfer can happen round the clock, 24/7, 365 days a year. And it is based on single mobile application. You just have to download Bheem. You don't need to access different bank accounts, different applications of different banks. You can have one Bheem app, all the accounts that you have. You add the account numbers and you can transfer money from any of the bank account from that one single app. And it is a single click and also very safe. How safe? It is based on two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication allows you to have two gateways, so that even if one of the gateways is compromised, there is another question or another way where you can safeguard everything else. Now it is aligned with the regulatory guidelines that RBI has to offer. Very strong feature. Virtual address of the customer for pull and push provides for incremental security. Whatever, say for example, pull and push is basically where you have to uh, seek transactions or provide for transactions, everything else, and no detail is required. Card number, account number, IFSC code, nothing is required from the customer to make that transaction. Otherwise, if you are to pay for, say for example, you are filling up the form for UPSC, UPC CSE का आप form fill कर रहे हैं, and you want to pay on pay for the form online. If you are to pay through debit card or credit card, then you will have to add all the details. Whereas if you want to pursue through UPI, Bheem UPI, you open up the app, you transfer the money, and off you go. Based on QR code, scan and pay. All the QR codes, for example, are accessible through this app. And then further, it is the best answer to cash on delivery hassle. So otherwise, you would have to be running to the ATM and rendering the exact amount, and you have to, basically seek physical cash from the ATM. वो सब करने की जरूरत नहीं. सामने Amazon वाला आता है, Flipkart वाला आता है, Myntra वाला आता है, and आप you pay the money through scanning. QR code scan किया, pay किया, bye bye, tata. Now, utility bill payments are happening. Over the counter payments are also happening. Over the counter payments are those payments when you go to Kiryana shop or some grocery shop, and you're having food, for example, at a restaurant. Stuff comes, you eat that stuff or you use that stuff, you buy utilities, avail services, you pay through UPI. These are over the counter payments, small payments. Then donation, collections, disbursements, etc. Everything it is scalable in all these segments, and then raising complaints from mobile app directly. You don't have to visit the bank, you don't have to go anywhere physically. All these things are benefits. Now, as far as the benefits are concerned, let's diversify these benefits. One, for the banks, how is it beneficial? For merchants and for customers. Guys, I really work hard in creating good presentations for you guys. I know my presentations are wordy, but still, I know that I make you realize that इस पूरे line में ये keyword important है, ये keyword important है. Make sure to like this video and share it with your friends. All right. Really would appreciate the support. Now, single click two-factor authentication for banks, it is a much safer thing. Universal application for transactions, so they don't have to have different modes for different banks. So अलग अलग channels create करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. अच्छा, leveraging existing infrastructure itself, so they don't have to create anything extra. Banks को ज्यादा खर्चा करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Safer, secured and more innovative. And the payment basis is single unique identifier, so you have your own UPI pin. You put that pin in that app and you transact. Acha, seamless for merchants. Fund collection is seamless from the customers. It's no hassle, immediate. For example, Paytm पर इतने रुपए प्राप्त हुए, right? That is how you hear, and it is a matter of maybe a couple of seconds, even not even minutes. Unlike you follow say NEFT or RTGS, वो तो couple of minutes and couple of hours वाली situation हो जाती है. अच्छा, tap customers not having credit or debit cards, so you don't have to you don't have to have credit cards or debit cards. You have more accessibility towards customers, so customers ज़्यादा आ सकते हैं, and you can manage them as well. Suitable for e-commerce and mobile commerce transactions. MCOM is mobile commerce, not the masters in communication. Acha, resolves cash on delivery collection problem, so you don't have to hassle the money, right? You don't have to collect money every time you deliver stuff. तो वो मनी मैनेजमेंट इजी हो जाता है, चोरी करना मुश्किल हो जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, देन राउंड द क्लॉक अवेलेबिलिटी है फॉर कस्टमर्स, एंड देन सिंगल एप्लीकेशन इज नीडेड. वर्चुअल आईडी is used. For example, if I use my mobile phone, face ID can be used to unlock that, and like very secure as compared to mobile phone numbers. You use those UPI pins, etc. That is also doable. Single click authentication happens, and you can raise complaints on mobile app directly. Now, these are certain things that you should know, because direct questions, I've seen a couple of questions in the past where direct questions have come up. How is UPI placed in our overall payment ecosystem? For example, uh, very recently on 17th January, somewhere around 192.7, almost 200 million transactions happened, worth rupees 5.52 lakh crores. This happened in the ongoing month, as far as the data is concerned. Then there is this DigiDhan dashboard, which is maintained by Ministry of IT, Information Technology. Very important. This is another fact you should know of. 52% of overall transactions, payments, all digital payments were through Bheem UPI. At present, it stands at 61.38%. Is going to increase. Bheem, Bharat Interface for Money. One single app helps the users a long run. Chalo. Now, what is the significance? You can see more than 50% of the payments are being made through Bheem UPI. This is Bheem UPI, for example. Then there are other apps, mobile banking, for example, IMPS, credit card, debit card, so on and so forth. ठीक है जी? So just a idea as to how the volume of digital payments are segregated in various segments. It is convenient for all stakeholders. That is why UPI is significant. There is interoperability. It allows for instant settlement in fiat money. Fiat money, remember this. It is convenient to consumers and merchants. Tell me, what is fiat money in the comment section. What is fiat money? Keep watching this session, guys. Important stuff is coming up. Digital banking में formalization को promote कर रहा है, and making digital banking more effective, for example, so on and so forth. अच्छा, apart from that, We are now moving towards not cashless but less cash economy. Why I say less cash economy is because Indians will always have a tendency to keep some money here in their pockets. We have always had this tendency because we have seen tough times and we are not yet accustomed to having no cash. And money in the bank is probably seemed like invisible stuff for us. Acha. Increasing tax revenue with digitization, the market's black money can be diminished. You can reduce that. You can have more accessibility or knowledge of transactions. तो आप टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को भी रिफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. You can strengthen the health of the banking sector, for example. And apart from that, the data monopolies that big data companies or big tech companies have had, you can break that. For example, particularly the companies which are working in the PKI segment, public key infrastructure segment, Visa, MasterCard, for example, right? Private companies. Now you have your own NPCI creating UPI. Then it also enables India to project a much better picture. Why? Because it adds on to India's soft power. है ना? अच्छा. What about international onboarding? The issue is that very recently, and this is not just about internationalizing Indian rupee or the UPI payment systems, it is the first step towards internationalizing Indian economy as well, as far as the money transactions or the capital transactions are concerned. Now, non-resident accounts, for example, for those individuals, non-resident external accounts, जिनके पास हैं, all those individuals, let me just clean this up. I don't like this. Yeah. So non-resident external account holders and non-resident ordinary account holders, they have international numbers. They will now be allowed to make UPI payments. So if there is any landlord who's living or residing abroad, has a non-resident external account or an ordinary account, payment to them may not be needed to be done through the banking process. You can use UPI payment system. NPC, just to give you an example, NPCI had allowed UPI transactions to and from NRO NRE accounts linked to Indian numbers back in October 2018. This had happened. Now NRE accounts कौन से होते हैं, NRO accounts कौन से होते हैं, ये समझ लेते हैं. NRE accounts, the non resident external accounts, are those accounts जो कि non residents use करते हैं to transfer earnings from foreign soil to India, while NRO accounts are used to manage income earned in India by non-residents. So वो यहाँ हो गए और वो वहाँ हो गए. अच्छा. Something, a concept, although different, but seems similar with Vostro Nostro. I really like the sound of it. Vostro Nostro. अच्छा, Vostro Nostro accounts क्या होते हैं, मुझे comment section में बताइएगा. Comment करके बताइएगा. Vostro is yours, Nostro is mine, for example, ऐसा करके whatever it is आपने बताना है मुझे. हो जाएगा? हाँ जी. अच्छा, चलो. हाँ, one more thing before we move further. Please remember we have a separate science and tech series being worked upon that I'm going to share with you guys. 2 sessions have already happened. One more is coming. This is a new series on economy. We will be covering economy related current affairs, and we will have somewhere around 4, 5, 6, 7, how many, whatever the number of sessions we have on YouTube. Along with that, we will also have, apart from YouTube, on the Unacademy platform. Sriram's IS is making all the efforts to get your attention so that you reach out and you make sure that whatever we are covering is, we are able to help you guys in that. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up. अपना भी support साथ रखिए. चलो. Now at present, users from 10 countries will be able to avail the facility. For example, Singapore, Australia, Canada, Hong Kong. We are taking this as a separate country. One China policy से थोड़ा सा हटके. Oman, Qatar, USA, सऊदी अरेबिया, यूएई, यूके, हांगकांग 2 बार आ गया. एक्चुअली आई टेल यू द ट्रूथ, 2 बार क्यों आया. व्हेन आई वाज राइटिंग डाउन, ये थोड़ा सा खुला खुला आ गया था. सो आई थॉट कि मैं इसको बाद में ऐड कर देता हूँ. आई फॉरगॉट टू डिलीट दैट. प्लेन एंड सिंपल ह्यूमन एरर, नथिंग एल्स. चलो. Now, more inclusions are, of course, are likely to happen in the future. Then development would also allow NRIs to use payment methods. For example, utility bill payments for NRIs who have families living in India. है ना? Now, currently, all the internal systems as well as ecosystem players, for example, banks, NPCI, etc., they only understand India-based mobile numbers for UPI transactions. This is a significant feat, and when this happens, there will be technical glitches. Those technical glitches are supposed to be sorted out, particularly with the help of service providers, who SMS service providers, the international telecom networks, etc. We need to have that kind of integration. Moving further, what are the incentives that are being offered under the scheme? The acquiring banks who will avail the scheme, they will be given financial incentives to promote point of sale and e-commerce transactions using रुपए debit cards, low value भीम UPI transactions. इस scheme के through ऐसा किया जाएगा. Banks, acquiring banks कौन है? They are those banks which will install and manage a point of sale terminal, particularly through which UPI transactions can happen. Then there is this issuing bank, which is responsible for issuing the रुपए card to the customer. अच्छा, रुपए card के through जो भी transactions होंगी वो इस तरीके से रहेंगी. All right. Now, the scheme has been formulated in the compliance of the finance minister's budgetary speech that happened in the last year, 2022-2023. है ना? So the speech happened within the next last year. That is why it is relevant for this next year's exam. Acha, the incentive would reduce the cash carrying and storage risk as well. Acha, because this scheme is associated with RuPay debit cards. RuPay cards. This reminds us about one topic which was very important and it had been asked in the prelims examination as well. The MDR, or the merchant discount rate, or sometimes also called as the merchant service fee. This is the charge that is recovered by the acquirer, not the issuer, from the final recipient of payment, that is the merchant. तो मर्चेंट क्या करता है? मर्चेंट हमसे लेने लगता है कि एमडीआर मेरे को 2% लग जाएगा, मैं 2% और चार्ज कर दूंगा, ये कर लूंगा, वो कर लूंगा, बट वी आर नॉट एंटाइटल्ड टू गिव हिम दैट मनी, बट यस, ही इज सपोज टू गिव दैट मनी बिकॉज ही इज यूजिंग दैट ट्रांजैक्शन process. It is collected by the acquirer to compensate varied service providers who all have made sure that the payment system worked fine. Now, presently, there is no MDR levied on RuPay-based debit cards and UPI transactions. In the future, it is expected कि ऐसा होगा. RBI has expressed concerns about potential adverse impact if we had zero MDR regime, particularly in the digital payments ecosystem. Further, अपने को जरूरत पड़ेगी. So NPCI has requested incentivizing BHIM and UPI transactions for now, ताकि इसको cost effective बनाया जा सके. Value proposition for ecosystems and various stakeholders. Now, apart from that, ideally, whatever innovation happens, it needs to be sustained. And for that, we have to have a staggered approach for pricing. For example, maybe slab wise, just as I told you, 2,000 or 20,000, that is the, discussion that is being happening. It is on the charts that UPI might be paid very soon. Okay? Acha. Now coming to the next topic, rather a topic, a subtopic as to how e-rupee is different from UPI and would it have any impact on them, right? Hmm. See, as far as e-rupee is concerned, e-rupee is not the same as your UPI. UPI is a transaction portal. E-rupee is actually a digital form of the legal tender or currency. There's a difference. This currency is going to be transacted probably through UPI in the future, but it is not the same as UPI. Now, e-rupee is sort of official cryptocurrency for retail users, which was launched December 1st, 2022. Basically, RBI has announced this launch. RBI has defined it as the digital form of currency notes that or rather RBI, have been issuing as a central bank, a sovereign or entirely independent currency issued by central banks, in this case RBI. All right. Now, this e-rupee would be wholesale and could be used for wholesale or retail purposes. It is a pilot project for the entire wholesale segment, which was launched in 1st of November. Later on, retail version भी आ गया था December 1st को. 4 banks were there: SBI, ICICI, IDFC, and Yes Bank. These were the ones who had participated in the first phase, the pilot phase. 4 more banks, for example, HDFC, Bank of Baroda, Union Bank, Kotak Mahindra, they will also be added in the subsequent plans and it will cover 13 cities in a phased manner. तो धीरे धीरे करके इसको लॉन्च किया जा रहा है. And then telecom operators are also launching products which are e-rupee enabled. They will also be tested on closed user groups और CUGs, closed user groups. तो ये इस तरीके से केस स्टडी हो रही है, पायलट फेज में इसको लॉन्च किया जा रहा है. नाउ मूविंग टू द इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, वन थिंग इज दैट फिलहाल अभी क्या है, ई रूपी इज लिमिटेड टू लो टिकट यूसेजेस. इट्स नॉट मेजर ट्रांजैक्शंस आर नॉट हैपनिंग देयर, तो वी कैन basically experiment in this initial phase. Now it is a sovereign, entirely independent currency which is launched by RBI. It is going to be legal tender once officially issued. CBDC will be considered as the medium of payment. CBDC is central bank digital currency. And legal tender, of course, by all three parties: foreign citizens, government bodies, and enterprises, be it banks or anybody else. Government recognized, it can be freely converted into any commercial bank's money or notes. The idea is that we have moved from metal currency towards metal backed currency, towards physical notes, towards paperless currency, or basically e-rupee. This is the evolution that I wanted you guys to understand. ये मेंस और प्रीलिम्स दोनों के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है और रेलिवेंट है. आरबीआई ऑल्दो इज नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ ई रूपी विद इंटरेस्ट. तो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज दैट अगर आप वॉलेट में ई रूपी रखते हैं तो आपको वॉलेट कोई भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं पे करेगा. This is the difference. So I don't know how many people would actually want e-rupee, because they would want their money, at least if the money is parked in banks, they would at least receive say 4%, 5%, some percentage of interest, right? So there is this difference. And this is, basically one major challenge. Apart from that, blockchain technology will be the underlying tech of cryptocurrency, whereas rupee system, the digital rupee system, has also used blockchain technology, but in a different manner. It is not the same as cryptocurrency. Achha. Cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Bitcoin, they are private in nature. This is a fully issued and controlled RBI entity. E-rupee will be moving away from the competitive mining of private cryptocurrency, where everybody mines and tries to gather more and more. It will not be based on an algorithm based process. It will be a plain and simple currency in its online form. Simple. As far as global scenario is concerned, 105 currencies have been exploring CBDC. 10 have launched already. The first of which was Bahamian Sand Dollar. This was in 2020. Latest was Jamdex, which was Jamaica. So it is not just India. It is somewhere around 10 odd countries in the world which have already launched this. Will this work? It might. Let's see how. Consider cash being consumed on out of digital wallets instead of physical wallets. Imagine you have this wallet and that is not existent in the physical form but in a digital form, and you're spending money out of it. Your wallet does not give you interest unless and until it is based out of pocket money. Then you can give your money to your parents and they can add interest to that. Used to happen in the childhood. Acha. When it is still is in a pilot phase, and it's like a push product. Why? क्योंकि जबरदस्ती थोपा जाएगा, है ना. And beyond that, using mobile number, KYCs, and successful completion of KYC, digital wallet is good to use. Digital wallet is not an issue, but when you keep money in the bank account, you will have interest rates. But if you are keeping that in an e-wallet, you will not earn interest rates. RBI in fact is not in favor of rupee with interest, e-rupee with interest. वो चाहता ही नहीं, right? क्यों? Because people might withdraw money from the banks and convert it to digital rupee, causing banks to fail. नहीं तो banks के पास पैसा ही नहीं रखेगा कोई, banking system fail हो जाएगा. So how much non-interest generating money would any user want to accommodate? तो वो एक थोड़ा सा issue है, वो एक glitch है. But yes, this is the aspect. Now, why is RBI moving towards e-rupee? RBI is moving towards e-rupee because it's like the next step. We started from metal-based money, tankas for example, or gold निष्कयास और गोल्ड कॉइन्स फॉर एग्जांपल, टू मेटल बैक्ड बैंक नोट्स. तो इसी मेटल को सेव करने के लिए बैंक्स के पास जाते थे, बैंक्स आपको बैंक नोट जारी कर देते थे, एंड दैट बैंक नोट यूज्ड टू बी लाइक अ सिक्योरिटी backed by that gold that you had stored at the banks. For further transactions used to happen where you used to take the banknote to the bank and take out that gold and transact in that gold, get back to the bank. The remaining gold was put back in the bank. Another banknote was issued, or in the same banknote, certain changes were made. At one point, those banknotes themselves became the mode of transaction. That was the birth of currency, or the physical fiat money that was tangible, which had legal tender, for example. Now, there is a cost which is incurred in printing, transporting, storing these currencies and coins, minting of these coins. So that can be rationalized through e-rupee. Now, what are the benefits? One of these are the benefits. So cash management becomes easier, and it is also targeted at those who don't have a bank account. But the issue is that if somebody does not have a bank account, how certain are we that they will have online existence? So it is not aimed at just mobile phone users, but every person with a mobile phone can use this currency through e-wallets. E-rupee can be converted into any form of money or cash. Why? Because of course it is a legal tender. It is a fungible legal tender. That means you take your e-rupee out of your wallet, you give that e-rupee to a merchant, for example, and that merchant may give you, say, if you are going to purchase some chocolates, it's chocolate day, you purchase some chocolates, and you have some, say, cash change that is to be given back. So you might not receive e-rupee, you can actually replace it in the form of cash or physical currency. So e-rupee would aid in formalizing digital consumption of money as well. Further, it would provide general populace an alternative to the unregulated forms of cryptocurrencies. This currency will not be unregulated. RBI would make sure of that. CBDC allows central bank to have more effective, satisfactory public policy goals. If operational efficiency will increase, financial stability and inclusion will happen, financial integrity will happen, monetary policy effectiveness will also be increased. This is the set of statements or phrases that can be directly asked in prelims. Direct question can be there. So this is what I was asking you to stay for. Very important facts. Further, RBI has stated that the key motivation is to reduce the operational costs, bringing resilience and innovation and efficiency in the payment system. Now, we have moved from the metal-based money towards metal-backed notes, bank notes, and bank notes being transacted in the physical form and called as physical fiat money. Acha, by the way, money is not equal to currency. I hope you know that. Currency is just a physical form of money. Physical form. There can be multiple forms of money. Currency is just a physical form. That is it. So now the next phase of evolution is very simple. अच्छा, fungible का क्या मतलब होता है? We were talking about fungible. Fungible is where you can replace it or you can interchange it with something. Say, for example, if I have a 100 rupee note, I can go to the market or go to the bank and seek 250 rupees notes or 5 20 rupee notes or 10 rupee notes, है ना? So that is something being fungible where you can replace it with something of equal quantity or equal amount or equal value rather. ठीक है जी? अच्छा, further, will this hurt the adoption of UPI? Now there is still a settlement risk which is existent in UPI. Why? Because there are intermediaries, which is the banks, they are involved. So उसमें settlement problem हो सकती है. E-rupee में ऐसा नहीं होगा. Why? Because at the end of the day, it takes about a day for an interbank settlement to conclude. But e-rupee, there is no settlement risk. It will be issued by RBI, will be much faster. UPI is a bank-to-bank payment mode, and it can leave a paper trail or an audit trail. So it has to be audited, whereas e-rupee will be wallet-to-wallet transfer. Audit is not necessary. So you don't audit individuals sitting in home purchasing stuff or maybe transferring money from one wallet to another. In fact, RBI is thinking of allowing anonymity in e-rupee transactions. That will really help, particularly at at the smaller ticket levels. Acha, beyond that, apart from that, customers are unlikely to be charged anything for now for e-rupee. They would probably not be charged throughout its lifetime, but UPI for now is free. It will be chargeable going ahead. So what are the challenges that retail e-rupee has? For customers perspective, UPI is offering ease of access. E-rupee needs to prove how user friendly it is. Digital theft, for example hacking, virus attacks, etc., could be deterrent for certain individuals for shifting to e-rupee. Apart from that, there is this cultural mindset that we have in India where we need to feel the note, that dollar on the shani karni. In Punjabi there's this song, like you sway money like this, मेरे पास बहुत पैसा है. पैसे की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पैसा है ही नहीं, है ना. So for that reason you want to keep that stash with you, है ना. What was that song? It was getting really viral. My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. You know, wo wala. So we like keeping hard cash, and a country with that cultural mindset, it's very difficult to cover a couple of things. ठीक? अच्छा, चलो. Abhi for now, what happened is that we understood whatever was happening at our in national end, but RBI is also influenced by what IMF says. So IMF has recommended instituting a specific threshold, say $10,000 for regulatory oversight, so that ease of regulation also happens. Okay? Chalo. For now, in this session, that is it. I will see you guys in the upcoming session, in the upcoming videos where I will be discussing more important facts just like this. And I will be back. I will be back with a bang, and I will be talking about important stuff. So stay tuned and keep watching this series, because I will talk about a lot of things that are relevant for UPSC examination. Economy series, science and tech series. I'll see you guys around. Take care. God bless you all. Bye bye.